USA versus Japan at the World Masters Championships. There were 23 total turnovers in just this one game. In a matchup for gold, you expect that most of these came from jaw-dropping defensive plays, but instead, many of them came from unforced errors and just sloppy mistakes. I'm going to break down every single turnover to show you what really happened. It all starts in the second point of the game where the US was starting to get through Japan's zone. Working through the zone, scanning for options, swing to the sideline, guy streaking, he's open, another pass straight to the dirt. This is just like a routine throw. There was nothing too crazy with this one if we actually just rewind this one back. We just got it to the sideline, and now, since the Japan's defense is kind of spread out because of that swing, so this guy here has that nice wide open pass for the receiver here. Literally, there's nobody around here whatsoever. These Japan defenders are trying to catch up and seal that off, but it's just not going to happen. So honestly, this is just one of those plays that when you reflect on the tournament, it kind of keeps you up late at night, but it is what it is. All right, Japanese handler just looking for a reset option, looking, nobody's there. Eventually, somebody comes in, but straight to the defender. It looks like a throwing error. Like if you just look at it real speed, it does look like it was just like a kind of just a misfire, a missed throw. But if we actually kind of look at this again in kind of more slow motion, this Japanese receiver is about to make this kind of cut inward for the handler. She sees it locked in. I feel like the stall count is getting kind of high at this point, so it's basically kind of like a last option. What you're about to see is like something really simple and tiny that kind of messes this all up. This handler is already in the middle of like their throwing motion, and then she's like planning to just hit this receiver at that direct line. It is a very tight window throw, I understand that, but she's just trying to do whatever she can, it seems, at this point. You can see the receiver does a little movement and goes off of that line. Takes the smallest kind of like outcut towards this direction and does not go on the same exact line this way. And it literally just changes the outcome of the whole entire play. If anything, it should have been a contested type of catch. It might have still ended up being a turn, but it was just a super easy play for the defender there. So I'm going to put this in my category of miscommunications and just kind of give it to that one instead. So I'm about to get into the 6th point of the game, which happened to have 6 total turnovers. Now that also means that more than 25% of the turnovers happened in this point alone. So US is literally at the goal line right here. A little bit of handler movement going on. Nice break side cut develops. It's open, but just a little bit too far. I mean, look at my man right now. He's just like,
boy, ain't no way, boy.
And if we just let that play in slow-mo right here, we're going to actually see that the Japanese kind of miss out on rolling on the defenders here, which allows this whole entire play to develop. You're going to see that these two matchups here are going to stay put the entire time. What I would have liked is I would have loved that if this current Japanese defender stayed put to seal off this current handler coming in, and then this Japanese defender over here picked up number 58. But then I'm going to keep it playing. You're going to see exactly what happens. So right here, you can see that they just stay put with their matchups, and that allows for a wide open, like literally just wide open break shot to the break side here instead. It happens. Like I said, it was a good play, good cut by that guy right there, but literally just a toe. Just had just a smaller cleat. That's inbounds every day, all day. But that's not on you. That is not on you. All right, so right after that turnover, Japanese pick it up. They literally swing it all the way across the field, get to the middle here, swing it again all the way to the break side. And this is right where the next turn happens right there. A bit of an overthrow, a little bit too wide, but let's back it up. But look right here, number 24, the defender on that handler. He is super shaded like on the inside. You see that he's like super lunged out, like almost not like super flat, but super heavy inside, which makes this Japanese defender, you can kind of see the foot a little bit, really trying to step out and get around the throw. And this is the receiver coming into play now, right down here with the defender. So yeah, they're coming kind of straight down on this line, but then if I just let this play out just a little bit more, you see that it just goes way kind of more towards the sideline than this does instead of going on that line that the receiver was initially going down, because they were initially going down on this line here, but based on how you can see the it's going off right here, it's got to go more to the sideline and making that receiver have to adjust towards the sideline, but they just, you know, this is just a little bit out of reach, not much you can do there. So that's why I'm going to give this 70% on the thrower-ish, like thrower error, but then 30% to the defense here. USA gets it right back from that last turn that we just watched. So here we go with number 27 again. This is the same guy with the big shoes who laid it out of bounds. Once again, not his fault, but just got to say what it is. All right. On the sideline, we're almost at the doorstep here. Looking for a dump, looking for a reset. And then you're going to see that this lady here is about to cut down into the space to kind of like fill this gap, fill this handler space to kind of like get the disc off the sideline essentially to help out there. We let that play, and it's just, once again, a bit out of reach. There was really no defense involved in this one either. Like, if we even look at, I mean, just go with right here. All right, so the mark right now is kind of more of a flat mark, just trying to prevent anything going downfield this way. All right, sealing off that. And the defender that's chasing that person who's coming to the dump space is totally behind the receiver right now. So literally it's just kind of a wide open throw into the space. Should be something just really easy. Like, I ain't got nothing to say on that one. I really don't. It happens. It happens. So once again, I got to give this one 100% to the thrower. So this is literally immediately after that turnover. Pick up the disc, cut it from the back of the stack, and then it's just another turnover. Like I said, it's a pretty sloppy point. This turnover is pretty similar to the turnover 2 times ago, also with Japan. This cutter is going to be coming down at this type of angle. But right now, compared to the last mark, it was more of a shaded inside type of mark. But now we can see that this guy is like totally flat, straight in front. And once again, making this throw super wide. So yeah, just letting this play in slow-mo a little bit. It's still a pretty good throw, maybe just a little bit to the outside compared to that same line, like I said before, if I kind of just draw approximately. Kind of going out that way, and then you can even see right now the Japanese defender or receiver had to run this way a little bit, had to alter the path of where they were running to. So that way it's just a little bit offline, makes it a little bit more difficult. But honestly, he gets a hand on it. He gets a hand on it. So yeah, if I'm going to break down this play, I'm going to give 50% to the defense here, 30% on thrower error, and then 20% on receiver error, just because it did still hit him in the hand, even though it was very tough. But hits you in the hand, you got to catch it sometimes. You got to make a play. All right, so USA gets it back. All right, once again, getting close to the goal line. Should be an easy throw, but kind of sails over the receiver a little bit unexpectedly. Compared to all the turnovers that we saw for this point, this one has definitely been like the easiest one that should have been completed. Literally all that green grass. We look where the defender is there, behind the receiver. Just got to lay it out open into space, but honestly, it just looks like the wind took it up a little bit, and it just happens, you know? See, now you might be wondering, like, why did she jump for the disc? But if you look at this angle right here specifically, like, she is coming straight towards the sideline. She's also expecting an easy throw coming right at her. She's taking all of her momentum to that sideline, and out of nowhere, the disc pops up in the air. She has to slow down, and she's not expecting it whatsoever. So it would have been a quick change of direction. She just wasn't ready for it. Sails over her head. You can even see my man in the back right here, who actually threw the disc, number 24. He's prayer hands. He's like, that's on me. He knows that was all on him. So that, I'm not going to give any blame to the receiver on that one. So I'm going to give 90% thrower error here, but I'm also going to give 10% to the defense, because if you look right here, this disc is still kind of floaty. This receiver could possibly make a layout crazy grab if the defender was not in the way. But because of her presence, it makes that like not available, not an option for the receiver, or it's going to be a dangerous play. So that way right there, I'm going to give 10% to the defender just because of that. All right, so we've been through 5 turnovers so far. We got one more that's coming up right here. Japan has the disc once again. Looking for just an easy reset with the dump. Should be an easy routine catch, but just a little doink there. This is going to be the first 100% receiver error on this one. Like I said, should be a routine catch, but if we pause it right here, my guy's eyes are not looking at the disc, which is kind of right here in his arms here. It's one of those things where you think you're going to catch it, you're going to turn, immediately try to throw, but you never secure the catch, and then the disc just ends up on the ground. So yeah, even though it was a super long and sloppy point, USA does come out on top of that point specifically, but that was definitely a wild one. So literally we get to the next point. Japan picks up the disc, nice little center there, and then boom, layout block. Pretty thumbnail worthy, if you ask me. This is the current handler right now, right after the centering pass, just looked upfield. And he's trying to hit number 99 in this whole entire sequence, and then you can see that number 99 is defender. Then if we just keep on playing it forward, you're going to notice that number 99 initially starts on this line directly towards the handler, but then after a while, I don't know if they're going for a clear, thinking that they're not open anymore, but just trying to keep their eyes on their handler. They do eventually start to break off towards the sideline. Allows number 22 come in here, layout block, and just sneak up in there. Pretty clean, pretty awesome. Look at my man's face right here. Like, if you see anybody with this wide open of a mouth when they're about to make a play, it's over, bro. So my final breakdown of this turnover, I'm going to give 80% to the defense. That was an awesome hustle play. 50 to the thrower, since it wasn't like too much out in front. Could have been a little bit better. And then just a small little 5% to the receiver there, just because I feel like they broke off their cut to the sideline a bit too early, in my opinion. But that's just me. This next turnover was probably the trickiest one to decide where it was going to go, and you're about to see why. Ooh. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Definitely doesn't seem like there's really much to this one. All right, so we get this. So we get the disc on the swing, and then just a nice little boom, big flick, Really got the defender to bite. Big kind of foot block. I know it's kind of blurry, but kind of big foot block there. Defender's really off balance. And they just try to pivot around, get that around backhand. Was that a hand block? The way that the dish just went down immediately. Hold on, I did that in like real time. I don't know. That. Hey, yo, what's going on, chat? It just goes down so fast, and it looked like something smacked it to go downwards, in my honest opinion. So I think that's 100% defensive play there. That's what's up. So we're about to see another pretty nice defensive play here. You're going to see why I'm not going to give this 100% on defense. It just seems like one of those classic where you're just so wide open, you kind of don't trust yourself to catch it at full speed, and then you slow down. I know I do this a ton. This is something I'm trying to work on myself. So like I said, open, it is a tight one. It is super tight. But if you look kind of like right there, you can tell that the receiver starts to kind of slowly chop the feet a little bit to slow down her momentum and speed. And that does just enough for that defender to kind of get her hand in there and get the layout deep. So yeah, in my honest opinion, I'm going to give this a 60% defensive play, but then 40% receiver error. Just because, once again, I feel like the receiver did slow down a little bit, and I think that's what really caused a turnover at the end of the day. But if we keep on moving on back to Japan, just trying to get something downfield, somebody eventually does sneak open, but it does look like it's almost kind of weird. I couldn't 100% tell if it was like an off throw or if it did hit this receiver's hand. All right, so once again, we got a current handler here, and then we got this pair about to come into frame to really try to get open for that handler. All right, she makes a nice little like sit-up jab cut one way in this direction, and then eventually gets back open in the other direction. It's a really nice cut. But then once that throw comes off, this is where things kind of get a little bit tricky for me, just as a spectator. And like right there, it looks like it really does look like it hits her wrist. I'm giving this like 90% on the receiver and then 10% on the thrower, just because like she was pretty like wide open based on that cut, and like the throw wasn't like directly in the breadbasket, but did hit her in the hand, and it seemed like she would have had it if she just didn't kind of like misjudged it a little bit. There wasn't anything going on with this turnover that was anything crazy or special, just like a throw that kind of just got taken up in the wind. But what I saw after that turnover was a bit more interesting. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm just watching this turnover again. But like, look, peep the guy on the Japanese like sideline guy. Where's he at? Look at him. My man looks so upset after that one. He's like, man, why did you throw that? I'm pretty sure he was trying to hit like this type of space, but the wind just looks like it had some different plans, if you ask me. I see what was supposed to happen, but 100% thrower error on this one. Literally right after this, immediately turnover, next play. Literally first throw, pick up, turnover. She is sprinting to the disc. She's going to pick that up. Number 22 is going to try to fill back that dump space for that handler, but they're just not on the same page. She expects him to make a cut out in the space, and he's just totally focused. Look, his head is not even looking at the disc right now. He is right here. That disc has already been thrown right there in the air. My man is coming out this way, but it looks like she was just trying to throw it out into space for him that way. So yeah, now if I just let that kind of fully play out, and then on top of that, you know it's kind of like, what are you doing? That's not what I expected type of play. Your handler has the palms out wide open type of thing going on here. She's like, what are you doing type of deal. Like, obviously, they weren't on the same page. So that tells me is that is automatically going to the miscommunication 100%. So Japan does get the disc back, and you see that they're going to hit a nice inside shot, which leads to a nice deep shot opportunity, but sheesh. Unfortunate throw for Japan. This is a simple 100% thrower error. You guys saw it. I mean, it's a pretty easy one. Honestly, like right there, you can look right off the screen. It's these two going deep. That defender, I'm not trying to like roast him or anything like that, but my man got cooked. He got cooked, roasted deep. Japan literally had a wide open throw, but it was just literally got overshot. My man's just too strong. Got to get out the gym. Stop eating the Wheaties. All of the above. All right, so then this next turnover is literally like the opposite of the last Huck turnover that we just saw. Boom, there goes the D right there. Good defensive play. He got the D, but honestly, I'm not even really giving much to the defense there, honestly. All right, so here we go. She comes under for that nice little undershot there, and my man is gone. He is streaking deep. He wants it. She sees it. She's about to uncork it. But like I said, opposite of the last one was too far. This one's too short and it hangs up and then it just like sits up there. It should be like more of a 50-50 ball, but you're going to see that this Japanese receiver doesn't really fight for this disc at all. Like the USA player hustles his butt off to get, to that disc, try to make a play. But like based on like the overall play, how it happens, the US like defender doesn't have to do much. That's why I'm only going to give like 20% to the defender, like 60% to the thrower, and 20% to the receiver because there was literally no fight. Like I wish like number 91 here might have like ran in the lane a little bit to box out that defender. Or even if like the box out doesn't happen, if I play the rest of the clip, like this Japanese receiver does not jump at all to try to make a play. But I do think there was definitely some more that could have been done by the Japanese receiver here. So that's why I'm giving 20% of the blame to them as well. But anyway, we keep it rolling here. They are moving the disc quite a bit. They get past like halfway down. But just a little bit of a rush throw here. It's kind of the right shape. It's a great look. The receiver did beat the defender, but, nice little outside in type of edge there. But just a little bit too far. Just need to probably float it a bit more so the receiver can really get onto it. But another unfortunate one that got away, especially in a game that was really kind of getting out of hand. Another one that's going 100% to the thrower for sure. All right, so this is literally right after that last turnover. This is that same exact point. So USA has it. They're trying to work a little bit, kind of undercut here. And then my man is streaking deep. He does have some steps, it looked like, at the beginning, but he kind of breaks off his cut. It just seems like another miscommunication by the US there. All right, because when we get the disc, boom, my man, like you can see him, head down. He wants to take off. And then my boy here, he also sees my boy is gone. I'm trying to put this. But then you can see once the camera cuts to change angles, this guy stops, and I feel like he was about to this was all like a ruse, trying to get his defender to really bite on that deep cut, and he was ready to come back under. These two American players, they just were not on the same page, so this is going, once again, to another miscommunication by the U.S. Kind of just looking at this, kind of just thinking about overall so far what we've seen, a lot of the U.S.'s, turnovers have either came from, more miscues and just throwing errors rather than defensive plays on Japan's side. I don't think any Japanese have made any real defensive plays, honestly. All right, moving on back to Japan. Near the goal line yet again, still 12-5. So this is still the same point once they get it back. So here we go, and boom. Not over yet, but then a doink at the very end. The disc is currently right here, if you can't tell. But as you can see, this mark is currently first in that sideline. So right now, all this is just wide open grass. And this current receiver, this is their defender. They see that, and they are just ready to hit all this open space. Literally just lay it on them anywhere, and they should be able to get it. But if you look just based on how the throw comes out, and the defender is starting to close in a little bit, that throw, instead of it being way out here for this receiver to run onto, the handler accidentally throws it a little bit behind, which allows his defender to kind of catch up. They don't actually touch the disc, but they do just enough by flashing their hand to kind of mess up that initial throw for the receiver. For the initial play, I'm really going to just give 20-30 split between 20% on the thrower and 30% on the defender. Just because that defender flashes their arm in a way that at least distracts that receiver to kind of mess up that first catch. I only say 28% of the throw, even though it was behind and everything like that. It still ended up being catchable because the defender never actually touched it. Could have been a better throw. But since looking at the disc right now, it is still very catchable for a score. So I'm giving 50% on the receiver actually here on the overall play. So once again, the U.S. gets the last score. So everything's going downhill for Japan. And it's still going downhill for Japan. So yeah, if we literally just slow it down, it's just another little easy dish centering pass. And I don't know. I don't even really know what happens there. I'm trying to see if this angle can provide any more clarity. It is going a little bit lower. You can tell by the disc there. And right here. So this is why I'm putting this kind of on the receiver. I might change it, might be an 80-20 type of split. Maybe more 70-30, just because how low this receiver has to catch the disc off the ground. But once again, it looks like the head is looking up at possibly these defenders who are coming in. More concerned about that than actually trying to think about actually catching the disc. So I might actually put this, like I said, 70% on the receiver just by what it looks like head up, not looking, and then 30% on the thrower by making it kind of go this far off the ground. So even though Japan had a little doink there, US had a really similar one right here, all right, as well, all right? Unlike the last one where there was a little bit of blame on the thrower, I don't think there's any thrower blame on this one. So it's literally just between this handler, this receiver. You're going to see that this receiver does a nice little jab swim move to get open here, and then we just get a nice little soft OI touch pass. So we got the receiver, jab cut there, puts the defender in an entire spin cycle all the way around. And then look at that, pretty wide open, nothing crazy. Nice little soft OI pass, and then it's just like a little pancake mismatch, little doink. That was all receiver there, nothing on the thrower for sure. Quick and easy, simple, keep it moving. All right, so we're actually about to witness back-to-back US turnovers. It's actually been a minute, I'm pretty sure. But we get this right back kind of near the sideline. Trying to finish out the game. Can they do it? Layout block by number 99. Pretty clean. So honestly, I think this just really comes down to more of a number 20 here being a little bit antsy, trying to win the game. It's literally a championship gold medal match for the glory. He has steps. He has a little bit of steps. So I mean, I don't really knock her for trying to want to throw this, but like it kind of just sits up a little bit. But maybe if it just got pushed out just a tad bit more into this type of spot here, that might have been a little bit better. But it kind of just sits right in front, and then the defender is able to catch up and make a play. So in my opinion here, I am giving this play breakdown of like 50% on the thrower, and then I'm giving 50% defensive play because number 99 has to do a good job of staying in phase pretty close while this receiver is doing a whole bunch of kind of like jab cuts and stuff. It does a pretty good job of just like staying close and being pretty tight enough to be able to be there for that layout block. So that's pretty awesome. Now Japan's hopes are alive for a quick second, but in about 2 seconds here, you're about to see that it gets crushed. Hand blocked by the defense. There it goes. So yes, this is a final turnover of the game. US then clutches it up and scores shortly after this. Right here, you can see that Japan is trying to wind up for that huck, but then you can slowly see, I believe this is number 31, is just shifting over that whole entire time, and then she eventually just gets that block. Boom! That's literally all she wrote. You can't really write it up any better. That's an amazing way to end it, to get a championship, to get a gold medal on a hand block. Can't do it any better than that. So this is my final chart of all the turnovers in this game. As you can see, in my opinion, the throwing errors led the most with almost being 50%. But maybe you agree with me, but maybe you don't. But let me know in the comments below. Peace!